tough Big Ten slate continues this weekend. UCLA coming into town for a 3-game series against our Boilermakers in Alexander Field. Purdue coming off a series against Michigan. I'm Kyle Charters along with Ben Turner, the head baseball coach. Greg Goff took on the Michigan Wolverines this last weekend, coach, and the Wolverines got 2 of 3, but man, what an opportunity your team gave itself in Game 2 on Saturday. A chance to get that rubber game after coming back and really putting on a good performance in the game earlier in the day. Unfortunately, just a couple breaks go Michigan's way in that contest, but that's a quality team for sure.
It is. You know, they beat some really good teams, and I thought they were better than what they had played. You know, and I was really happy how we came out on Saturday after getting beat on Friday. You know, pretty handily, and just how our guys responded, and you know, that's a huge turnaround to go from, and the way our guys showed up and got a chance to play really well on Saturday, the first game, and you know, give yourself a chance to win the series at home, and you know, we just come up a few hits short, and run out of innings, you know, on that day. So, but you know, overall, I think we're continuing to build and look and see exactly what roles are going to be played.
Yeah, 2-2 week with the victory during the middle of the week as well. You're right, though. I think the way your team responded after the tough one, really the first time they had lost in that fashion in the Friday night game, the opener against Michigan, had to leave a sour taste in your guys' mouth and yours as well. But you come back right away on Saturday and put the pressure back on the Wolverines. Yeah. For your team to be tested in that way, really, for the first time this season, and to respond was a good sign.
It really was, Kyle. You know, you're right. I didn't sleep at all Friday night. I was, you know, I thought there was a couple of balls that the wind got out. You know, a 3-run home run that kind of extended the lead. You know, and just it was just we had a couple of balls that they got up in the air. You know, we made a couple of mistakes in the air, and they got out of there for them. So, but just I was, you know, a little nervous, to be honest with you, how we would respond after we had not played that way or been beat that way all year, and for them to come back. You know, those guys, when they left the locker room on Friday night, man, they were mad. They were upset, and I knew when I saw how they responded to it, I felt like they'd show up, and they did, and really proud of them for that.
Saturday turned out to be a very long but very competitive day.
It was.
2 3.5-hour games on a doubleheader. I mean, we were there all day, but there was a lot of competitive baseball. It was among the most back-and-forth days with 18 innings that I can remember in a long time. So that speaks to the quality of play that was happening out there. The first game Saturday, a couple huge plays late in that game. Brandon Rogers, that catch against Mitch Voigt, their best hitter in the 6th inning. Man, that was a momentum swing in a huge, huge way. If that ball drops, who knows which way that game goes.
There's no doubt, Ben. Another thing that we've been consistent with all year, our defense has been really sound for the most part, and really made some big-time plays. I mean, you know, man, we got some athletes all over the field, and you know, that was a huge play that really, you know, got us out of that inning and got momentum going. I couldn't say enough about Easton Story again. Another quality start from him, and you know, then our bullpen came in there and did a good job for us, and then you know, Lucas Cook steps up there and gets the big, you know, opposite field home run to put us up. So in the A's, so I thought it was our teams were very comparable in Michigan and us, and you know, excited about the opportunity of getting back on this week.
Yeah, the 8th inning alone, game 1 of that doubleheader, speaks to that back and forth nature.
Yes.
You know, they get that 2-out pinch hit home run into the bullpen, and the wind goes out of sail a little bit. Like, man. But then LC comes up. We'll be talking about his opposite field approach all year. Right. And first batter of the inning, Purdue has the lead again.
It's amazing.
It's a huge swing.
It really was, you know, and that's the thing about this team, you know, just like how they responded on after Friday night. These guys is resilient. I love coaching these guys. I told them yesterday, we had a great practice yesterday. You know, you would have thought we were 4-0 last week, the way they show up. It's just amazing how they have bought into the process and what I ask them every day. They are such a great group to coach, and I'm very grateful for it.
Avery Cook certainly been a busy man all season long. Your closer, he pitched in 3 of the 4 games for you last week, including both games on Saturday. But he has been so reliable, so consistent for you. Used him in a little different role in the second game on Saturday to keep your guys close and give yourself an opportunity at the end of the contest. But man, there's you can say a lot about the performance of Avery this year. He's really, you know, helped to close out games, kept you in games, and just been really solid.
He has. You know, he's been a great leader for us. I know we had some meetings yesterday before practice. just going over the weekend. Or we do that every weekend or whatever. But I thought he had some great points with the pitching staff, and he's our leader down there. He's the guy that people respect. He's been on both ends. He's been on the end where he's thrown 3 or 4 innings in a year, and he's been this year being the guy. So he can relate to all those pitchers and try to help those guys grow. And he is our leader, and very thankful for him. Again, I thought he had good stuff. I thought his stuff, was good on the second game on Saturday night as well. So again, a guy that's put himself in a great position, and somebody, if you're going to be good, you got to have somebody at the back end of the game, and he's definitely that guy for us.
Perhaps you're starting to get a little bit more healthy. We saw Sergio DiCello get back into the lineup in the game on Saturday. Nice to see him after, a dozen games or so that he was out. C.J. Richmond hopefully getting closer to a return as well. But to have Sergio back, I thought in that first game on Saturday really brought your team a lot of energy. Running the bases, sort of his attitude behind the plate, putting the ball in play. Just nice to see him back out there.
It was, he's still not 100%, but boy, he brings some great energy, doesn't he? And just fun. He's not afraid. He runs the bases. That was a big stolen base.
Yeah.
It was first and second there that we stole. We were down by a run at that time. So he's just a great guy that brings a lot of energy. I think our team builds off of that as well. And to see him back, Nick Colsey, the first time he had thrown. In about 3 weeks, I think, with mono. So we are, and then CJ hopefully will start swinging at the end of this week, and then hopefully by the Washington weekend he'll be back. So we are definitely. That's why I tell our guys all the time, like we are still we are a very unfinished product and team, guys, and I'm really excited about it. We get all those guys back. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, unique that your catcher comes back in Sergio and he provides the boost on the base paths. You don't think of that with a catcher necessarily. I mean, we've had some catchers over the years that do steal bases and stuff like that, but yeah, instant impact. First game back in the lineup, that was awesome to see. Meanwhile, you're kind of like quiet rock at third base. The impact that he's made in the first inning of a couple games during this homestand, those first inning home runs, and they changed the scope of the early, first time through the lineup like that. Brandon Anderson has really made an impact early in those games.
He has, he's just steady. I mean, he just never gets sped up. He's the same guy every day. Just a rock for us, and just kind of solidifies our infield. We lost a really good player in Joe Stevens last year, and when you lose players like that, you never know what the next year is going to be like. But Brandon's did a really good job for us, really stable. You could see, I think he made an error this weekend for the first time in a while, and he was really, you could tell, mad that he had, made that error. Just a great player that has a lot of great presence and really makes our team, go, to be honest with you.
Maybe the one area that you take away in terms of improvement going forward is just limiting the big innings for Michigan.
Yes.
Your offense has been able to do that a lot this year. Just got to, those 4 or 5 run innings, if they're 1 or 2 or 3, maybe the outcome looks a little bit different. But just the ability to be able to get out of some of those innings is key.
That was key. That was one of the big topics we talked about yesterday in our meetings. Is just the big innings. We've been so good at getting out of those. Inherited runners. Our bullpen coming in and keeping those guys from scoring. We didn't do a good job of that this weekend. So there's some things that we're trying to clear up, and that's the great thing about baseball. And that's why I love coaching, and I love a team that wants to be coached. And so we had really addressed those things, because you take away the 3 big innings that they had, and we probably win the series. And so we got to do a good job of that. We did a good job of it up to this point. We just got to make sure we're throwing a lot of strikes and playing good defense. And like you said, Kyle, if we can keep that thing from being a huge crooked number, you got a shot.
So UCLA this weekend at Alexander. Will go out to Washington next weekend. Do these feel like Big Ten series? They are. The reality is they are, but they do feel. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to seeing some different uniforms.
It is. I'm trying to get myself. I've watched them a few times already. Yeah. They're playing our friends this past weekend out in California, so I'm trying to get myself used to that light baby blue coming in here to West Lafayette. So, but yeah, we are. It's a huge weekend for us. We got, they just got ranked in the top 25. They're really good. They can pitch and play. They're just a solid West Coast team, pitch and play defense. they have probably 2 or 3 guys that'll play in the big leagues, which is normal out of their program. So I'm really, really excited, and looks like the weather's going to be nice. So hopefully our fans will show up and give us that home field advantage at Alexander.
I mean, when you look at these Bruins, it does seem like they're probably the most well-rounded team you will
Yes.
have faced yet this year.
Yes.
So-
Oh yeah. There's no doubt. They're solid. They are a top 25 team, and looking forward to having them here this weekend.
Yeah, should be a great weekend. Weather will be good for us. Hopefully that rain will stay away, and should be some great crowds, especially with the students here back on campus as well. Coach, thank you. Looking forward
Yes,
to the
sir.
weekend.
Can't wait.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Avery Cook will join us on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Birck Boilermaker Golf Complex.
Play championship golf at the Birck Boilermaker Golf Complex. Enjoy great food and great drinks at the new Pete Dye Clubhouse, and shop official Purdue gear at the Purdue Pro Shop. Experience it all now at PurdueGolf.com.
Avery Cook joins us on This Week in Purdue Baseball. Busy man last week. Avery pitched in 3 of the 4 games, including twice on Saturday in both ends of the doubleheader. You've done that twice now this year. You picked up a couple of saves on the first day of the season. Also, you feel pretty comfortable with pitching that much?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've prepared the whole offseason to do this role, so, I mean, I was ready for it for the start.
What goes into, I guess, both the mental and maybe more importantly, the physical preparation of pitching at the end of a close game like it was on Saturday in the victory against Michigan, and then being able to prepare yourself to come back out and pitch in game 2?
I think just the off-field stuff, just the recovery aspect with Casey, getting Coach Webb in between outings. That's just the biggest thing, is just keeping my body healthy, keeping myself in shape, eating the right stuff, drinking enough fluids, stuff like that.
For you to get the final out of the 8th inning in Game 1 Saturday, and then see Lucas Cook hit that home run opposite field into the bullpen, I'm sure the whole dugout went, haywire in some ways. But you specifically, knowing, okay, I know my mission specifically now, what did that kind of feel like to you as the closer?
I just knew I had to lock it in and just get the job done. Our lineup did the job as they always do, so they did their job, I do mine, and ends in a victory. So
Okay, honestly now, that inning went on maybe 20 more minutes after that home run. Was that a good thing, or maybe a good problem to have kind of deal?
I think it was a good problem to have because we scored 2 more runs, so I had a 3-run lead to work with in the 9th inning. So I just went down to the bullpen, kept my arm loose.
As someone who's been asked to get more than 3 outs in a save or a win multiple times this season, does that matter, going into the dugout and then coming back out as a relief pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you don't want that much downtime, but if you're getting downtime, it means you're scoring runs. So it's kind of a payoff. You got to just take it as it is. So we do things in the dugout that keep us ready to go. So
Tell us your view of the other big play from Saturday Game 1, Brandon Rogers' catch in the 6th inning. What a momentum swing that was.
it was huge. It was huge. He's one of the best center fielders I've ever seen. So
And to lay out against their best hitter with that many guys on base. You were in the bullpen, I assume, at that point, or still in the dugout?
I was in the bullpen, I believe.
Okay.
So the second year now you've been in this role as the closer. Second year you've had this new arm motion. How much, I guess, more confidence do you have this year in the role and in your new delivery and all of that?
So much more confident, just having that whole entire offseason to develop and kind of work my craft and try to perfect it as much as I can going into this season. It's not a finished product at all yet, even now, but from where I was last year to this point, I feel like all the work I put in is really paying off, and I'm really comfortable in what I'm doing.
How much does the confidence and, being on the run that you're on, how much does that matter when you're out there in your role as a closer? I mean, you see, some of the best closers I think of all time. A, they have good stuff, but B, they have the right mentality, right? They just go out there knowing they're going to get guys out. How much do you think that helps you?
I think it's everything. I think confidence and the ability to trust yourself is everything when you're closing games, because you're going to be in high-pressure situations. Like, you have to expect that. You have to learn how to deal with that. And I think it starts even before the 9th inning. It starts maybe the 6th or 7th inning when you get sent down to the bullpen. Like, you have to get your mind ready to go from that point.
Is there camaraderie among sidearmers with Chris Gallagher in the mix and this year, and his motion is even more distinct than yours?
100%, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys know yet, but there's another side armor up and coming on the staff, so we're kind of trying to accept him into it, and we're working with him and working on obviously helping him transition.
Okay, can you tell us more of that, or is that we got to find that one on our own?
I think you got to find out on your own.
Well, that's our
yeah.
mission, I suppose.
Keep your
for the
eyes out
coming
tonight.
weeks. Gallagher's motion versus your motion. Do you feel like if your hitters have to face both of you guys in the same game, is that a recipe for disaster?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you throw in Mike Vallone in there, like he's a funky side,
Sure.
he's not 100% sidearm, but he's still a weird angle lefty. Like just having the ability to mix and match arm slots and different pitch variations and stuff like that is an advantage that we have.
And we've heard Josh Newman is kind of a fan of having at least one side armor, if not multiple, on the staff. Is that true?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How much does it help you guys to be in, you mentioned some of the other guys, but to have specific roles? It seems like, everyone has sort of settled in. We see Michael Vallone on Fridays coming out of the first one out of the pen. Gavin Buter on Saturdays. We know what your role is at the end of games. Has it sort of allowed the pitching staff and maybe the bullpen in particular to feel comfortable with where it's at?
Yeah, I think so, because I think they kind of fell into a spot where they know what to expect now.
Yeah.
Like Michael knows after Carter gets done, he's probably going to be the guy if it's a close game. Like, gives you more of a confidence because you know what to expect almost. Like, you can tell yourself before the game, okay, if Carter goes 6 or 7 here, I got the 8th, 9th, whatever it may be. And they just know that before time or ahead of time, and they've earned that right to know because they've done so well in the whole season.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a confidence booster for them.
All right, so we have on this team 2 Averys, we have 2 Cooks, we have 2 Andersons. You guys keep everyone straight by nicknames. What's your Cookie? Is that?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes Lucas is Cookie too, so. Yeah.
So that gets confusing.
It does get confusing.
All right.
This is the first year that we've had 2 Averys, though. The Cook thing is 3 years running now.
Yeah.
And Cook's a very common last name, just like Anderson. So,
Yeah.
But to have 2 Averys on the same team, I suppose that's a first for you.
Yeah.
You're the only.
He's my roommate too on the road, so.
Oh, there you go. Even more confusing, I suppose. And the initials help too, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
BA, LC.
Yeah.
Eli Anderson is just Eli.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Yep.
We asked Logan Sutter last week about Sutter Butter, and all he really had to say was that it came with him from JUCO.
Yeah.
Nicknames
Stuff.
kind of make themselves a lot of
Yeah.
times, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so since we had you on the show last year, you pitched at Wrigley Field, Charles Schwab Field in Omaha, and the Vikings U.S. Bank Stadium. That's a pretty unique trio,
Yeah.
and it just kind of speaks to college baseball can take you a lot of cool places. Give us maybe one thing that comes to mind memory-wise of each of those 3.
I think just taking the mound at Wrigley for the first time and just looking around and seeing my name on the scoreboard and looking at the ivy on the fence, that was a pretty special moment. And the stadium was pretty packed for that game too, so just seeing the people in the stands,
Yeah.
it was one of the coolest moments of my life there for sure.
Definitely a highlight from last year. What did you think of U.S. Bank this week, a couple weeks ago? I mean, it's not perfect for baseball, but we have to salute them for making it work. too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was different, obviously. I mean, just playing inside on a turf field was a little weird, especially with the sun coming in too. So, it was fun. Yeah.
We'd like to give you a chance to shout out some teammates. We've talked about, the catch by Rogers, Lucas Cook's home run, Gallagher and the camaraderie there among the side armors. Who maybe is flying on the roll of the radar a little bit or deserves some love on This Week in Purdue Baseball?
I think the whole lineup, they're just keeping us in games. Sometimes pitching staff's not going to show up like we did this weekend. The lineup is just picking us up in so many ways. It just makes pitching easier. So I just want to shout out the whole batting order, 1 through 9. They're keeping us close enough where we can win ball games and just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and the back and forth nature of Saturday, I think, speaks to that consistency and depth from the lineup of what they've been able to do this year. And I suppose you're happy you don't have to face them anymore.
Yeah.
After all fall ball and preseason
Absolutely.
practices.
Yes.
All right, so personal preferences to close out the player segment. Again, there are no wrong answers. We took out the questions you answered last year on the show, so hopefully we'll get some new stuff from you this year. Between 1 and 17, pick a number.
4.
Family member or person who has had the biggest impact on your athletic career?
I think my dad. He obviously grew up surrounding me with baseball, so without him, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, and
he
he's
trained me my whole life, so.
Tell us a bit more about his longtime relationship with baseball. He's a coach, right? And did
Yeah.
play a little bit as well?
Yeah, he played independent baseball in New York after college. He played at University of New Haven, and then After that, after he was done with his playing career, he opened a sports facility, which I pretty much lived at my entire life. So I was pretty much forced into training baseball. And then I ended up falling in love with it, so it worked out.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
We're happy for you here at Purdue as well. All right, between 1 and 17, don't pick 4.
13.
13. Sport other than baseball you most enjoy playing?
Oh, basketball. I love basketball.
I could see how you could have been a good power forward on a good high school team.
Yeah.
Is that
Center.
center?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to dribble. I was just allowed to step in.
You
Yeah.
might be the tallest sidearmer I think I've ever met.
Yeah, probably.
All right, last one. Between 1 and 17, don't pick 4, don't pick 13.
7.
7. Band or musical artist in your favorite playlist?
I'm going to go Treaty Oak Revival.
Tell us about them.
They're like a southern rock band. They're newer. They only have a few albums out right now. But
And walk-up wise, we're going with Fat Bottom Girls by Queen this year.
Yeah.
You have another one as well?
yeah, it's Safari Song by Greta Van Fleet.
Nice.
you
Good
go.
mix there.
Yeah.
So, Avery, UCLA coming in this weekend. The Bruins are obviously a very good team now, ranked, I believe. This will be a big weekend. I mean, it should be nice weather, good crowds. Probably the reason why you want to play at a place like Purdue is to be able to take on these kind of opponents in this kind of environment, right?
Absolutely.
Just what do you guys have to do to keep it rolling?
Just be ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
we can't panic. We can't hit the panic button losing 2 or 3 to Michigan this weekend. Like, we just got to keep showing up and doing the same thing we've been doing the whole season because we're 19-4 going into third week of Big Ten play. Like, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah.
So,
No doubt. It'll be a big weekend against UCLA. Thank you, sir. All right, that'll do it for our podcast for this week. For Ben Turner, I'm Kyle Charters, Avery Cook, and the baseball coach, Greg Goff, along with our producer, Corey Palm. I'm Kyle Charters. Thanks for watching This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by